Welcome to Old Game Plus, and today we're going to talk about two giants of the computer industry back in the mid 80s to early 90s. And it's not IBM and Apple or Microsoft and Apple, it's Atari and Amiga.
People forget how significant the Commodore and Atari were at the time.
Yes.
And they gave us, well, two massive, not so much in Australia with the ST, but they gave us two massive computer brands.
Yes. And but they didn't last very long. But we'll go back to the start. We'll talk about Jay Miner. So Jay Miner came up with the chips that were in the Atari 2600 and worked for Atari, and then got permission to go off and do his own thing because he was keen to do a console computer hybrid. And Atari gave him funding to do that, and as long as the stuff he learnt doing it was available to them further down the track, and he became the father of the Amiga.
Yes, the Atari had rights to the Amiga technology that they developed for 1 year as a console and then after that as a computer. But what also happened around the same time, Jay Miner started that in 1982. In 1984, Jack Tramiel and Irving Gould at Commodore had a massive falling out. Commodore had just sold $1 billion worth of Commodore 64s, which is quite amazing.
A lot of money.
And but in the end, after that, Tramiel left and started his own company with a similar view, making a computer games console sort of hybrid. And the two of them were basically at that point effectively at war with each other.
Yeah.
Butthurt powers everything. Apple, Microsoft, Sega, Nintendo.
Yes.
It's the most powerful force in the universe. So what happened is Atari was put up for sale. Tramiel found out that Atari was for sale. He decided to buy it, which made him the owner of Commodore and Atari at one point. When he bought Atari, he got all the rights to the Amiga stuff, which actually meant that for a little time Atari owned Amiga. Now,
yes,
when he did that, he took a lot of Commodore people to the new Atari, sacked a lot of Atari people. Amiga wasn't happy, so they started negotiating with Commodore, much to the delight of Irving Gould, and Commodore jumped in and basically took the Amiga technology off Atari, and the rest is history. It ended up with Commodore. So it was a really fascinating story of how those things go at the time.
And as that happened, Atari tied them up in the courts over this taking Amiga off them, and made sure they got as much of that research they funded into their new computer, which was the Atari ST. And it came out 2 months before this one.
He used lawyers just to beat it. And the Amiga came out and then this one a little while later. But yes, and that was all basically those two trying to outdo each other.
So yeah, the Atari ST lasted from 85 until 93. And then it was stopped because they decided to focus their development on the new console, the Atari Jaguar.
That sounds awesome.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.